Ahead and get started now.
All right, awesome. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Jeff Friso. I'm a student at Purdue University currently, and I started this clothing brand called Free Mind Garments, as you can see on my hat, on my sweatshirt, and it's all about focusing on facilitating and encouraging people like my age, at least, what is like young adults or even high schoolers at this point, to really free their minds, really speaking up their minds, sharing their ideas with the world because there's so much you have to offer to this world. So it's kind of tied into like mental health and things like that. But on a more shallow aspect, it's really just about doing whatever you feel like doing because there's so much opportunity in this society, and sometimes it's frowned upon that you're doing things that aren't like normal. So I want to encourage you guys to always try out different things, talk to new people, talk to strangers, and things like that through my brand. But today we're talking about building your own brand because I'm currently doing it. I'm always working on it. Obviously, I'm not like a brand guru or anything like that, but I just want to make sure I can share the knowledge I've been able to gain over the year because it's only been a year since I started this brand while I'm in school, and it's honestly a lot of fun. Met some awesome people, and if this is something you're interested in, then you've chosen the right session because I'm gonna like break it down to like three main steps. So we're gonna go into like branding, understanding what branding is on like a shallow level almost, and then diving into like touch points. And then from touch points, we're going to like actual garment creation. So a little bit of background about me. I'm an artist with like tremendous skills in art and design and things like that. So this is not like things I learned in school. It's just things I decided to teach myself because I was interested. I was curious. And again, I want to free my mind. I want to share my ideas with the world. So I was daring enough to do it. So if you guys just want to follow along, I don't know how sharing works later on, but I can definitely share this template with you guys and just gives you everything we'll be talking about here today. Okay, so essentially, branding. Branding is your brand personality and like your visual identity all together. Really understanding how your brand speaks, how your brand presents itself, where your brand shows up, and how it shows up, and to whom. Okay, so we're gonna just go step by step. Can't really see the chat, so I'll just have to like trust that you guys are following up with me. If there's anything interesting, Jenna will probably fill me in and let me know. People are asking about this, people are asking about that, so like elaborate and things like that. But essentially, brand personality is all about understanding your value proposition or your mission statement almost. I'm sure you guys have heard that kind of word before, but we're going to be taking free mind, for example, in this instance. So the value proposition of free mind is providing students, because I am a student, with an outlet. Okay, so this is my value proposition. Through my brand, I aim to provide students with an outlet to free their minds, whether it's through music, whether it's through sports, whether it's through events. And then based on this too, I'm gonna come up with a target audience, which is students in this case, or young adults. The more specific you are with your target audience, the better. So I'm gonna go with college students or young adults in this case, because these are the people I see every day. It's the people I interact with. So then I have like a better insight into their pain points and what they want to see from a brand. And you also have to define your mediums of reach. So like, how do I reach my audience? At least for me, I do so through social media, obviously. That's where everyone is hanging out. So whether it's Instagram or TikTok, I do so through a website and through email. And we're going to get deeper into this later on. But these are my mediums of reach and also event curation. Because I've done like a couple of in person events. I like in person interaction a lot better. Like, this would be so much fun if it was in person. But I digress. So you also have to decide on your tone and language for your brand. So do you want your brand to be casual? Do you want a brand to reflect who you are as a person? So I feel like I'm tied to my brand. So I want my brand to be very casual and straightforward. Because in my post, for example, in my caption, on my social media campaigns, I will use very casual, straightforward language. I won't be like making it overly professional because I want to seem like I relate to my peers. And people do not like being sold to, they just like connecting with other people. And I'll probably say 90% of the people who buy into my brand is because they connect with me on a different level rather than just me saying, hey, go buy this and things like that. But, anyways, going to visual identity, which is like more like of the fun side, things you guys actually see on social media and on websites. You have to come up with a logo, obviously. And Fremont actually went through a few iterations for a logo, but then I finally nailed it down to this oval shape situation with like a text that says Fremont. It's very clear and legible, at least for me. As like a UX designer, I have to really understand things like visibility and accessibility for users. Because then, if someone sees this on a garment, they can clearly see that it says Free Mind. There's no questions about it. Like, what brand is that? That I'm not. No one's getting confused. We're going through like understanding what do people even relate with. Do we call it Free Mind Uni because we want to talk to college students? We talk about Free Mind culture because it's like something with multiple facets. Free Mind project, or just free your mind. But like none of this really stuck, and we just went with Free Mind because it kind of leaves that little interpretation aspect to it. But then you have your logo. Okay. And this tool I'm using is Figma. I don't know if you guys have ever used it before, but I use it for everything. I don't even use Adobe anymore, but that's okay. So you also have to decide on typography. Usually you need at least two kind of fonts. Right now, I'm really obsessed with like Snell Rowan and Inter. Inter is what I'm using right now. It's a sans serif font. Usually you want to pair sans serif and serif fonts to like achieve some kind of like interesting theme going on. So my brand is more focused on like streetwear kind of vibes. So we definitely want like almost like a good compilation of different fonts so that you're able to then appeal to different masses with different fonts, which still make your brand look good. I guess this is probably another fun part. It's coming up with colors. So for my brand, I picked three main colors, which are all earth tones, because I'm very like kind of neutral kind of guy. You can see here a lot of like the colors already there. So one of the biggest colors we like is green, or more of like a forest green. Up here and paste that, and we also have some browns, a little bit darker than that, and then sparingly we have tan. So you really want to come up with all of these things from the get-go. Like I really want to emphasize the importance of like branding and visual identity so your posts look consistent and things like that. Like what is your content? What is your website? What is like social media? Anything you do, you want it to be consistent with the brand. So there's no questions about what brand is this again? You also want to come up with an aesthetic. Like you can see here over with this board, I came up with like a lot of inspiration pictures. I was like, what speaks to me? What is free mind? What does it matter? Like here you can see this is like very African vintage vibes because I'm from Africa and I want to relate to that. And also like this is kind of like my interior design aesthetic. So like what speaks to you and why does it speak to you? Really understanding what kind of style you like, what kind of vibes you like as well. And this is literally on here because I feel like Freeman is about, I don't know why he's standing on a vending machine upside down, but you can do whatever you want. Like it's okay to try new things. It's okay to go for it. It's okay to like engage with strangers. So based on that, um, I guess I'm just gonna use this aesthetic photo because I kind of want to go with like that young kind of vibe, almost apparel but not apparel. You also have to think about packaging, and packaging is actually something I thought of like later in life, almost. Like I was kind of late in my process thinking about packaging, but this is at one of our events last summer, and now we have like obviously a branded kind of bag going on, recyclable. We have stickers, and we have some cool stuff going on. And this is my friend working. This is also my other friend working at the stand. Great time, great time. But anyways, touch points. So even the next step in building your brand will be coming up with like social media, website, email. So you really have to understand where and how you want to reach people, right? So I know for myself, I like Instagram. I'm already on Instagram, so why would I go anywhere else? Like the people I want to reach are also on Instagram, and some of them are on TikTok as well. But I don't really enjoy TikTok like that, so it's kind of like there's gonna be a lot of times where you feel like, oh, this is not what I want to do, but this is what you need to do because that's where everyone that will interact with your brand is at. So I just want to emphasize that building a brand isn't just a walk in the park. It's fulfilling, but it's also very demanding. So I would encourage you to really like dive deep into each step and understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And that starts all the way with your value. Like, what does it matter so much to you? And how does it resonate with your own personality? So, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, maybe. I don't use Facebook because I think it's for old people. I said what I said. Um, and then for website, so I'm in user experience design, like I said. I've done a lot of design work, worked with a lot of internships. So I can build my own websites. And if like that's not something you can do, you can use things like Wix Studio, you can use Shopify, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. You can use Squarespace, even Webflow. So look no further, but here are like a lot of options for the people who are trying to like start their own website. They have a lot of like e-commerce integrations. You can do like seamless email marketing. You can do analytics, understand like who's buying into your brand, where are they from, how old are they. You can collect their emails right in the same place. And then, last but not least, obviously, you want to do email marketing. That's like another way to reach people. And for that, you need some kind of newsletter. Like you see, sometimes brands are like, subscribe to a newsletter, do not miss a drop. You can do like offerings to people, whether it's discounts deals. This literally means the same thing. But offerings, so you want to offer things to people, you want to give them coupons, discounts, deals, and it also integrates smartly with like social media. So a lot of the content I create, I recycle it. But anyways, I don't know. Should I show you guys my website? Like, I guess I have like a domain and everything. So Free Mind Garments. This is Free Mind Garments. This is a video from a recent pop-up. It's pretty fun. So you go in and you can shop. So like the website does everything for you almost. You just have to like keep up with inventory, art to cart, like even payments. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to really focus on your product info, return policy. Make sure your garment's actually good. Make sure you have like a good shipping policy and things like that. And have an about page. Like this is like a whole other thing about building websites, which I could probably go into another time. But have an about page, people want to like connect with you. They want to understand who you are and why you even matter. And yeah, but here's the website, Free Mind Garments. And then the vibe kind of matches my minimal aesthetic that I was going for in general already. So you kind of want everything to tie in together. So there's no questions. Okay, now I'm going to the fun part. creating actual garments. So like this is something I had to learn as I went because I like clothes, I like shopping, I like thrifting, but I never considered myself a fashion designer, and that's okay. But for example, right now, I'm trying to like create this kind of like jersey kind of thing, but it's not really a jersey, it just has a jersey design. But I don't know, I'm exploring because it's okay to free my mind. Like, not everything I make has to be perfect, not everything I make has to be manufactured. But I'm just here to, like, free my mind, have a good time with people. So, to accomplish this, I usually take these steps right here. And the first one is inspiration, really understanding what's already out there and what people are liking. So, like, for example, like I was talking about this jersey, I started with some inspiration. I was looking up pictures of like people in jersey fits. I really like the London vibes because, like, I like when my garments resonate with me personally, because then I can actively work on them and push them and sell them. Because if I make something I do not like, it's not going anywhere, just realistically. And I just want you to understand that not everything you make has to be 100%. Like you won't always be at your 100%, but you get to 100% by practicing and constantly creating. But as I was saying, inspiration. Like I have a knitwear in here just because I like the gradient, but not because a jersey is a knitwear. Like you can do things that don't really have a correlation until they do have a correlation. But really seeing the aesthetic around the whole jersey fits. Like how do I tie this into a content later on when I have photo shoots? Like how people styling jerseys. Why does it matter? This is a female football player. Like what made him wear this because he plays for Barcelona and for France, but he's wearing a Japan kit. Like, what does that matter to him? And things like that. Really trying to understand and really capturing some details and some really cool features because I feel like a lot of details get overlooked sometimes, and that's something I want to get more into. Um, I really like these colors for summer. I really like the vibes here as well. Cause like I'm a unisex brand, so I really have to understand how things will fit a girl and how it will fit a guy at the same time. I mean, obviously we have Rihanna here styling a really cool Balenciaga jersey, but really understanding how other brands are doing it, who's wearing it, why they're wearing it, where are they when they're wearing it, and what season, obviously. So after all those factors, so let me just take this right here. And let's see here for inspiration. So after all that, you really want to curate a story. And for story, I'm going to go to a different garment I'm working on. And this is actually something you have to learn as well. Like you don't have to learn in you have to work in parallel. Like right now, I'm working on a jersey. But at the same time, I'm working on this jacket. And here is my money maker right here. So this free mind jacket that I started working on, the whole story is about interacting with strangers. So I want patches to be the conversation starter. Like at Free Mind, we aim to like facilitate this sort of conversation. So like how do I transfer that feeling into clothing almost? So we came up with this jacket called the Free Mind Storyteller. And essentially it's 100%. I mean, you probably don't care all the details right now, but like you've seen a Letterman jacket before. It's not much different, but still tying to that minimal aesthetic, going with like the cursive font we picked at the start. But at the same time, it's also okay to like be playful with other fonts. Like this is like a completely different font than what I usually use. But I've been really interested into that font lately because it's giving that college bulky vibe lettering kind of thing. And this is Letterman jacket, so how do I appeal to the masses? So then I come up with a mock-up. I design it all on Figma actually. I use Procreate a little bit on my iPad, which is what I use for this drawing. But like I said, I will use Figma a lot, come up with like my dimensions and things like that. And once I have my story, I'm like, okay, so the thing here is I want people to buy custom patches that resonate with other people so that when they run into someone in the street, hey, I really like your jacket. I really like I love LA sticker. Are you from LA? What does it matter to you? Where did you grow up? I graduated from Purdue, so I have a Purdue patch and things like that. So you really want your garments to have like a deeper story rather than just printing stuff on a shirt or a garment. Because I mean, if your design is sick, people are gonna get into it. But like deep down, people are really looking for like more meaningful pieces nowadays. People are looking to curate their closets. Like if I spend $200 on a jacket, how does that matter to me? Like, and how does that appeal in the long run? So that's where you really would like want to connect with your audience on that deep level. And that's still something I'm learning to do right now because I started with hoodies and there was no sort of connection to it. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start a brand. I'm gonna put my logo on a hoodie and I'm gonna just start telling them to buy it. And like that'll work for like the first couple of drops, but after a while, even personally, you just want to grow. You want to be like more intentional in what you do. So I hope you take my advice so you don't have to like do it how I did it and then come back to how I'm doing it now. So really coming up with a story for whatever you're gonna be creating. I'll put that right here. Storyteller. Let me move this. So you always want a lot of inspiration. You want to come up with a story and why it matters. You can even write it down for yourself. And obviously, you want to go get into design. So, like I said, I'm an artist, so I already draw a lot, anyways. So, like, my sketchbook is full to the brim with sketches all the time. And if that's not you, that's okay still. Because if you take the time to like connect with people, interact with people, people who have other talents than you, then they can guide you. Like you don't have to know everything as a brand owner or like someone who wants to start a brand. You just have to have the idea. And then you find people who have better skills at different things than you. Like I suck at photography, but I have a really good friend that's really good at photography. So just like that, I can start working on like photography with for my brand with someone else. So I think that's really cool, getting to know people. So I encourage you to go out there and meet some people today. Um, Getting into design, you want to like create something that they call a tech pack. So I have my own version of a tech pack. It's right here for the jacket as well, because I haven't done anything for the jersey yet. It's for the summer. It's still a prototype. That's okay. But essentially, you want to come up with like dimensions and adjust actual sizing. This is something I had to really struggle with because I'm like, I don't know anything about garments for real, but I just want to create this cool thing. But I had to teach myself how to like measure a garment, what is chest, back, full size sleeves, and things like that. Coming up with like logos and like proportions. Because one time I printed a shirt, it looked good in the design, but the dimensions I gave them was just it was so off, terrible. So I was learning from that experience. I was able to like really take my time with this jacket, lay down like a similar piece because like I have this leather jacket that I really like the way it fits. So I'm like, okay, so how did they do it? I have like a measuring tape like in real life, so you can translate it to the computer a lot more easily. And you come up with like every detail, whether it's like measurements and like notes and details about the garment, every little detail, even the size label, you have to like nail it down from the start. Actually just put in an order for a sample for this. I work with manufacturers in Asia, and they're really cool people, really great workers. And obviously, I mean, everyone's looking for a dollar. So really being mindful of who you're working with is important as well, building those connections and those relationships because not everyone is out to get you, but also not everyone is out to help you out. So it's really up to you to differentiate and discern. Okay, I want to work with this manufacturer. They're not going to scam me. No, I want to work with this manufacturer because someone said they're reliable and things like that. So make those connections early on so that your manufacturer always comes through because you've built that relationship with them. Like I only have two manufacturers, one that does custom pieces like these, another that just does like regular hoodies and t-shirts because I don't want to like start manufacturer hopping. I know you guys probably heard of these terms like on TikTok and stuff like that, but you really want to build a connection with your manufacturer, come up with your design, seek feedback always. Like ask your friends, hey, what do you think of this garment? If it's not good, tell them to let you know that it's not good so you don't go spend money on something that is not good. And if it's good, then you move forward with it. But then again, not everything you make it's gonna be perfect. Like you'll have to like learn as you go. Like right now, I'm really excited about this jacket, but if it doesn't turn out how I want it to be, that's okay. We move on to the next garment. How do we make it better? So that's definitely like a skill that aligns with what I study. Really critical thinking, problem solving, because being a brand owner is not easy. You have to come up with like a lot of plans, a lot of direction for your team and things like that. So really understanding how to problem solve and think critically is really important. And obviously communication and collaboration, because this is not all me. Like I have a team. I gotta keep them in the loop. I gotta talk to them. But after you create this, you want to come up with like content or marketing ideas for your social media. So obviously it's up to you to decide what's appropriate for your social media. But for example, for the jacket again, coming up with a design and sharing the details with the people is content already on its own. So this is like a three slide carousel on Instagram. And that's what's in right now. People like carousels, people like reels. So understanding how can you break that down to like use the same content for multi purposes. So like I use this for my tech pack, but also use this for my content. And then obviously we have content in terms of like other drawings, other pictures. This is actually like the first versions of the varsity jacket. I was just drawing, messing around. It's at this state, this is gone. This never happened, and that's okay. But I had to start somewhere. And like just another tech pack for like another t-shirt design I created, inspired by a poem that my friend wrote. So like I draw a lot. I do a lot of things that aren't even necessary. This is like some graphic design for a playlist. So like this is content because people like playlists, people like music. I can free my mind through music. So I made a post about making a playlist and we have like a couple playlists now. It's called Free Mind Sound on Spotify, Volume 1 and 2. Volume 2 just came out. Some really cool sounds. And again, this is not even me. This is one of my friends who enjoys creating playlists. So now he uses my brand as a platform for his talent. So I definitely encourage you to like make those friends who like have similar interests. Surround yourself with people who have like great mindsets because you want to go far. And without people in your lane, then you can't really get too far. This is me when I met Gary Vee over the summer. This is like a brand photo shoot. So like all of this kind of stuff is content because people like seeing your brand at work. They like seeing people interacting with your brand. They like people really love seeing you succeed. And that's lovely. Like this is Free Mind sponsoring a whole soccer team. Why? I don't know why, but why not? This is like another photo shoot we had last December. And this actually never dropped. And again, not everything you make is gonna be nice or like work out perfectly. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I paid for the clothes, paid for the samples, paid for the shoot, and I just never followed through with it. Because again, I am in school, so like really having that time management skill and prioritizing things. Okay, I guess that takes us to model photo shoot. I'm gonna just take this picture and come in here. Because like for model photo shoot, you want to use props, you want to use a photographer who knows what they're doing. Because my friend actually like poses my models. Even the people modeling are my friends. So again, like I said, relationships, relationships, relationships. That's really like the biggest thing you should take away from this session about building your own brand. You're gonna need to be surrounded by lovely individuals, people who want to see you succeed. So you really have to come up with like a model photo shoot for your garment, thinking of ideas of like, okay, why does this matter right now? Like for example, the idea behind this tracksuit was country vibes traveling. Like it was gonna be December, Christmas time, so a lot of people are traveling, they're on airplanes, and you like a good sweatsuit. when you're about to travel. So like hoodie pants, comfy, everything is great, everything is loose. So I was going for that travel kind of vibe with the Jeep in the background. So like I wanted people to relate to the fact that you can travel because free mind, you can free your mind by traveling, going places. So how do we get that into people's mind through a model photo shoot and content we'll be posting? Just giving them those car vibes. Okay, I'm going on a trip with my friend. We're having a good time. We're talking and things like that. Obviously, there's more pictures, and I don't know if I even have time for that. But the last but not least is product photo shoot. You want to snap your product in like a nice environment. You don't just want to like take a picture of it on the floor or anything like that. Like this picture is of a shirt that I cropped. We're gonna oh it's blurry. Well, that's not good. I use this for content, but I guess anyways, product photography, you want really cool product photos. I mean I have my other FreeMind file here which is actually packed with like I had to use like a different file because this was getting too crowded, way too crowded. But essentially, like I was saying, you want product photos so you can you keep reusing them. So like nice and clear hoodie is in right now, brown hoodie, green hoodie, and give them like a little taste of what your brand is. Oh, there's that picture. Free mind for a while we were thinking we're gonna do like garments, podcasts, initiatives, creative studios. And I mean, I still feel like I would like to do those things, but I'm graduating in like 3 months, and I cannot wait to like really dive into my brand and take it to the next level. Like I've come up with like a bunch of designs for like beanies, tote bags. None of these came to life. I drew all this, and then I was looking for a manufacturer, and I couldn't find one. But that's okay because you keep growing, you keep learning. And here's the sweatsuit you just saw on that guy in the photo shoot. Made some iterations to it, but this was like first prototype. But yeah, that's essentially it. I could share this template with you guys, really understanding what branding is, going into like your touch points and understanding why it matters. And I don't know, we could even have like a Figma crash course at some point. But that's pretty much it for me. Thank you.
Hey, Jeff.
I
We have lots of questions.
wow.
Um, so first, people would like to know if you are able and willing to drop your link to your website.
Yeah, of course. Free mind garments. That's me. Thank you, Bryson.
All right. Did you drop the link?
I did.
Where is it? In the questions? We
I'm
can't.
in the comments, yeah.
Oh, maybe they're spamming it. I don't see the link.
Oh, I literally just sent it after Bryson's
Mm.
comment
Oh,
about
you know
being.
what? I bet you put it. Yep, you put it in the event chat.
Oh,
Oh, I see it too. I got you. Okay, so
all
there,
right.
I'll pin that for you. And then people want to know a lot. There's a lot of questions about monetization and like how do you decide the price point, and
Mm-hmm.
how do you decide like when you're pulling something or keeping it based on like how well it's doing.
Well, with monetization, it's really interesting because I'm not like a business kind of guy. So again, I have a friend who likes that kind of stuff, so I brought him onto the team. But essentially, I think about like my pricing from the sample I create. Like I just paid $500 for a sample for that jacket we just saw. So how do I account for that $400 sample and like the $200 photo shoots? All of that has to come into like the actual price of the jacket. So if I make 100 pieces, I have to like price it at least $130 to then have some kind of profit margin and still be able to ship without like there aren't huge margins making having a clothing brand, but I mean I do it mostly because it means something to me now, and I feel like over time once I grow it, then there will actually be like a meaningful margin.
Sure.
But pooling and skipping different items really relies on feedback. Sometimes you're gonna have to rely on the feedback they'll give you on social media and be like, hey, do you guys like this? Should I drop it? And then see what they're saying. And if they don't do it. But if it means something to you, always go for it because it's more about expressing your vision than doing what people are telling you to do.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have about time for one more because we're over the end of the session, but that's fine. Let's see. Did you face any major issues while trying to create your brand? Like, what was the biggest roadblock or stumbling block?
I feel like the biggest roadblock for me is imposter syndrome because I don't have any issues really communicating with people or coming up with ideas, but it's just thinking, what am I even doing all this for? Like, I'm not even like that for real. Like, I can't start a brand from scratch. Because I look at other brands that I really like following, and I'm just like, how did they accomplish this? And I tell myself, I can do it. So I feel like that's like the biggest roadblock. It's like myself thinking I cannot accomplish greatness, but I have to overcome that. And that's why you surround yourself with people who believe in your vision.
Cool. Can you define what imposter syndrome is for those that don't know?
Oh, imposter syndrome is feeling like you can do something even though you have the skills to do it, even though you have a vision to do it, you feel like you can't do it because you're either anxious about it or just doubtful and things like that. But yeah, you feel like you
Awesome.
don't belong.
Yeah. One last question for those people who are very interested in this, but also very overwhelmed by everything you just shared with them today. What is like the top one or two things they should get started with?
I'll definitely say the top thing to start with is coming up with that value proposition, understand why your brand matters, and like really coming up with like a deeper sense of meaning to it, because if it's shallow, then after 2 3 months of things not working out, you just let it go anyways. So really understand why it matters to you first, and that will be your driving force to keep going. And I'll probably say visual identity as well, understanding what inspires you, why it matters, and like how you're going to present yourself to people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thanks to you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.